Hello, I'm Mark Bell, Detective Chief Inspector within Major Crime and the Major Investigation Teams. The main role of the Major Investigation Teams within Scotland is we're a national resource that investigates local incidents, particularly in relation to the investigation of murders and homicide. Murder investigations take various shapes and forms and various categorisations, and that's how we look at allocating our resources to these particular investigations. We also use, as well as a national overview, we have local detective officers working with us on these investigations. And the main benefit that you have from the major investigation teams for policing in Scotland is that, irrespective of where an incident occurs in Scotland, you have access to the same level of expertise and experience, irrespective of geographical location. So a murder from the north of Scotland to the very south of Scotland, it gets the same level of dedicated resource, and that's one of the real benefits that we have of Police Scotland, to be able to flex that national expertise and blend it with local knowledge to provide the best outcome we have for the communities within Scotland. Within the major investigation teams, in addition to taking on murder investigations, we also we have an overview function in relation to all unexplained deaths that happen within Scotland. And what I mean by that is, where there's an unexplained death which by nature the events of how that individual has passed, they need some further explanation, we can offer assistance and advice and some resource to that. And the real thinking behind that is that, so as an organisation and within policing across Scotland, we don't end up in a situation where a death isn't investigated to an appropriate standard. So one of the cases that I would touch on is what was known as Operation Sandhaven, which I was the senior investigating officer for, which was the murder of Julie Riley. This started out as a missing person case within Govan in Glasgow, when Julie was reported missing on the 15th of February of 2018. It started off as a 4-week missing person investigation led by local policing within Greater Glasgow, whereby towards the end of that 4-week period there was a degree of suspicion that Julie may have suffered at the hands of criminality. So the case was handed to the major investigation teams. That case developed over the course of the following weeks, whereby there was a sufficiency of evidence to arrest and charge a person responsible for the disappearance and unfortunate murder of Julie. Mr. Andrew Wallace was arrested and charged, and eventually stood trial for the murder of Julie. Given the evidence that was available at that time, Mr. Wallace pled guilty to the offence of murdering Julie, as well as being involved in attempting to defeat the ends of justice by concealing her remains. We were fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to go and recover Julie's remains, and through forensic testing we were able to confirm indeed that it was Julie, and the most positive aspect of that was to bring the outcome to her family, in essence that we were able to bring Julie back to her family, provide them closure and an opportunity to move on with her life. Probably the most important thing about that particular case, as well as bringing justice to Julie and her family, is the overall team effort that goes into such an investigation. You may sit as an SIO as the head of an investigation, but everything that is achieved as a result of the team effort, and that team effort comes across the major investigation teams, local policing and all the various other specialisms across policing in Scotland that contribute to such a complex and large-scale investigation.